Thanks for joining us here on NBC5 In Depth. I'm Brian Colleran. For 32 years, he has really been our region's pediatrician. This week, Dr. Louis First will retire as Chief of Pediatrics at Golisano Children's Hospital at UVM Health. He's been a very familiar face here at NBC5 for the last decade and a half. Now, we sat down a few weeks back to talk about how he ended up here, the effort to make the Children's Hospital one of the best in the nation, and how the hospital is in great shape for years to come. Dr. Louis First, good morning and welcome to NBC5 In Depth again.
Brian, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here with you. We are taping
I've made it to In Depth. I mean, it doesn't get better than that. I finally made it to In Depth.
We're taping this a few weeks before your last day. How are you feeling about the big R word, retirement?
Well, the retirement is for family. I mean, we've considered our children's hospital a family, but it starts from having a family you care a lot about. Mm-hmm. And my kid said to me, Dad, is your 33rd year as department chair the one you've really worked for? Because if not, we really need you. Yeah. And so for family reasons, I'm going to be stepping down from a true, it's not even a labor of love, a passion for making a difference with everyone in this community to improve the health of the children we care so much about.
When you took this job back in 1994 and you and Sandy moved two young kids up here, did you ever think for a second that you would be here 33 years later?
Well, first of all, I didn't think I would be in Vermont. Someone sent my resume, a faculty member, a doctor up here sent my resume into the search process for a department chair without my permission.
So it's by chance.
So
you didn't even apply for the job.
No, I said no 3 times, and they said we've cut to 25 candidates. And I said, who are these candidates? But they then said we're going to interview 12 of them at Logan Airport in Boston, where I had been at Boston Children's.
Yeah.
And they said, what's the harm of doing it? I said, I have to pick up my kids at the playground at 9 o'clock. Let's do it early, because I loved where I was. But then I interviewed, and to be honest with you, I had 61 interviews. My wife kept track of this. And in the course of those meetings, 61, it was families, it was community members, it was doctors, nurses. I saw a passion in this region for caring for children that to me was unmatched, right, and felt like people here really wanted to make a difference. It's not that they don't make a difference in Boston, but the pediatricians in this community, all of them said, we can do this. And I was so taken by their commitment and their dedication that I said, they needed a little bit of a cheerleader, because to some extent we haven't been in the spotlight, but we've been making a difference.
Yeah.
And when I said, this is really of interest, my wife pulled out a list of places we might want to go to if we didn't stay in Boston, and at the top of the list was Vermont.
No kidding.
So we came up here, and little did we realize I would end up being currently the longest lasting department chair in the United States, and it's gone like this because of what we do and how we do it.
Yeah. When you walked into this place 32 years ago, how was it different from today?
The passion and the commitment for caring for children was the same. If anything, it's intensified given issues of youth in this country.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it was clear that we needed to listen to families. We needed to listen to the community, and we've grown. I came in, there were 23 pediatricians in the department.
Yeah.
There are now over 100 of us spread into New York and in here, and there are only about 150 pediatricians in our state. And despite that, we come out almost always in the top 5 for children's health in the country. We just got notified that we're number 3 for children's health from the Annie Casey Foundation. And that shouldn't be taken for granted. Yeah. It's not that we need a lot of props and scenery, but we need to meet the needs of families. And we've been able to do that through just what I saw 32 years ago playing out.
And without a standalone facility, when you talk a lot about these children's hospitals across the country, they're their own facilities.
They are, but my vision when I came was to say we're going to be a children's hospital without walls. Mm-hmm. And that has really stuck, so that anybody who really wants to make a difference can join us. Yeah. So whether you are in Malone or whether you're down in Brattleboro, you can be part of what we do. And I believe we stand on 6 pillars as a children's hospital. We don't have a building, but we stand on 6 pillars. One is that everybody that we bring on board should strive to be or be a national or international leader. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure the community understands, for example, that 1,200 neonatal intensive care units send their data to us every day. And when you say, why is Vermont one of the 2 best states in the country for perinatal care? We learn from 1,200 others,
right,
and we anchor that program.
Yeah.
I had the pleasure of being the editor-in-chief for 16 years of the National Journal of the American Academy of Pediatrics. I'm not here to brag about that, but that's for the people of Vermont and New York,
yeah,
to say that when something happens in children's health, we've got to be there. Number 2, very quickly, was that everybody has to do something in the community.
Right.
So it's not just serving the community, but what do? We both like baseball. I was the safety officer for the Burlington Little League for my first 10 years.
Right.
Then I announced at girls ice hockey. and I can go on, but that's real. That puts us in the community. We love taking care of children with a lens of safety and quality. Our safety and quality is top in the country in many areas. We do it with families. I don't know whether you know, we have 45 families that advise us on all of our projects in our children's hospital.
Wow.
That's your viewers all over. It's a diverse group, but we need their input. We focus on wellness and then finally sustainability. I'm about to end 32 years of, like it went like that.
Yeah.
But Dr. Judy Schechter's coming on board, and she's going to sustain the gains and take us onward and upward. And so those 6 things, Brian, all of them have measures and ways to say, are we getting there, have allowed us to grow in a way that meets the needs of the people we serve.
Yeah. You've put a face to the name of the Children's Hospital over the years in several ways. One, starting with a radio segment, First with Kids, that started as a radio segment on WOKO. I asked your good friend Dan Dubonnet to give his thoughts on his friend Louis First. Let's take a listen to that.
The Energizer Bunny. There's nobody with that much energy that I've ever met in my life. 5 o'clock in the morning, he's texting me what my radio station's doing. Seriously. And he's been a great friend over the years, but the Energizer Bunny, because I don't know how he keeps going without eating vegetables.
Thanks, Dan.
Yeah. First with Kids on the radio first.
Mm-hmm.
And that turned into the big, doing the Big Change Roundup, right?
Well, you're jumping a little bit. First with Kids evolved because I was doing a public affairs show that I was told plays in, and I love our farmers, but it was playing in the milking barns early Sunday morning. And so I started on that show, and I said, well, I'm going to make this a moving experience. I don't want to be a coward about it, but let me milk this topic about children in Vermont. And when I finished, the 2 disc jockeys of the morning roundup at that time stopped me and said, do you know anything about country music? And I said, I really don't. And they said, well, we'll teach you country music if you teach us about children.
Wow.
And that's how First with Kids got started. And then after I had done a number of them, one of the television stations sort of started to get interested to say, have you ever done television? And I hadn't. Right. And I wish I'm glad you don't have my first clip. It would not appear on NBC5.
No, it did not. No. We got you later on.
But that's how it evolved. And 1,500 some odd segments later, it's been a way to really bond with the community and educate in a very unique way. Nothing makes me feel better than when people stop me on the street and tell me that they're following what we talked about on First with Kids.
Yeah, a few weeks ago you were here in the studio taping your last series of segments, and when you came out, you shared with us how impactful these segments have been to parents across our region.
And even using media in this strategic, I'm so grateful. I'm not doing this just because we're on NBC5, but I'm so grateful to your station and to WOKO and to community newspapers who would take the message of the week and make sure that clinicians all over this region could see what I was talking about, and so could families, and then perhaps even talk about it during an office visit or talk about it in schools. It's been so exciting for me. Also, I could be a little creative. It seems like only last year that I shared, or should I say scared, some Halloween safety tips with parents.
Right.
In writing them and doing them and
singing a little bit.
Well, I'm making a list, checking it twice, so I can give you some helpful advice. Yeah, you name it, and I've used First with Kids, but if it gets the message across and it makes a difference in the health of children, it doesn't get better.
Your use of humor in sharing advice, where did that come from?
I'm an educator. And I want people to make sure that just because I'm a doctor doesn't mean we're not all part of this community. And I found that humor, while is a tool to attract people, but then to have something behind it, something that shows we care, something that says we are friends, something that says humility. When I tell stories, it's not about what I've accomplished, but what I haven't done right, so that people can say, this person's accessible. All of us at our children's hospital want to be accessible, and we want to be humble, but we also want to be inclusive, and humor helps us to get there.
How has the Big Change Roundup impacted the hospital over the years? Obviously, you've raised millions of dollars through.
Well, again, I
this
credit
concept.
Dan Dubonnet and WOKO for coming up with the idea of why don't we, instead of a traditional telethon or radiothon, ask people to just collect their spare change and tell their stories. Taking care of children is about stories. We have to have the science, but having those stories, and the Big Change Roundup allows all of that to come together. And it's an investment in the future. When children have a, collect change and know it's going to help other children, think about how that plays out years from now. So that has been I guess it's a renewal of vows every year. When I look in the faces of the families who tell us that they've raised this change for our children's hospital, and they say our children's hospital, tell me that doesn't make a difference.
A big person from our side of things on NBC5 who's been involved over the years is Tom Messner. He also wanted to share this message with you.
Does he?
I think of a guy who doesn't have no in his vocabulary. I've never seen a guy do so many things. Everything he's asked to do, he says yes. He never says no. Whether he needs to go to work and somebody says, hey, before you go, I've got an issue with my mother-in-law and she has this ailment, he'll ask about it, he'll take the time, he'll do that. If we're collecting toys for kids that I did with everybody over at NBC5 for years, he was there every time.
We used to collect on one weekend.
Yes, we did.
We'd do Plattsburgh one day and South Burlington the next. And the one constant was always you. You would always show up.
Well, again, you were doing something. It's a children's hospital without walls. And if you're allowing me the opportunity to educate, then my part of it is let me give back and help collect toys for this community and listen to people.
Right.
Being a pediatrician, you have to listen and make sure that it's not, I know the right way, it's how can we make your child together thrive in this community. And so standing in the middle of a mall collecting toys, what a great way to meet the people in this community. I love that.